The graduation ceremony stretched across the university. Lawn under a brilliant June sun. Rows of chairs filled with proud families. Their cheers greeting each graduate who crossed the stage. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments where in the world are you watching from. Eva Sterling moved forward in her wheelchair, her graduation gown flowing gracefully around her. The silence that followed her name was deafening. No parents, no friends, no voice calling out in celebration. From the back row, a tall man stood up, his weathered hand holding that of a 6-year-old girl. They were the only ones who moved, the only ones who clapped. Their applause echoed across the quiet space. Eva turned, and for the first time in years, she didn't feel alone. Eva Sterling had once been the kind of student whose name appeared on every honor roll, whose essays won competitions, whose future seemed written in gold letters. The only daughter of Richard Sterling, CEO of Sterling Aerospace, she had grown up in a world of private schools and boardrooms, charity galas and carefully curated appearances. But beneath the polished surface, Eva had always felt like a bird in a gilded cage, her father's expectations weighing heavier than any textbook she'd ever carried. Literature had been her escape. While her father spoke of profit margins and market shares, Eva lost herself in Dickinson's verses and Woolf's streams of consciousness. She'd chosen to major in English literature against his wishes, a small rebellion that felt monumental at the time. Her professors praised her insight, her ability to find meaning in the spaces between words. She'd been selected for a prestigious writing fellowship, had plans to pursue her MFA to write the novel that had been growing in her heart since she was 15. Then came the accident. 2 years ago, driving back from a field research trip to interview rural storytellers, her car had been hit by a drunk driver running a red light. The impact crushed her lower spine. She'd woken up 3 weeks later to a doctor explaining terms like incomplete spinal cord injury and permanent paralysis from the L2 vertebrae. The first thing she'd noticed wasn't that she couldn't feel her legs, but that her father was already managing the narrative, speaking to doctors about treatment plans, while she lay there, voiceless. The months that followed blurred together like watercolors in rain. Physical therapy, failed surgeries, endless medications. Her father hired the best specialists, the most expensive equipment, the most qualified caregivers. But what Eva needed, space to grieve, time to adjust, freedom to feel, those things couldn't be purchased. Richard Sterling controlled everything. Which friends could visit, which doctors she saw, even which books her aide brought to her room. He saw her paralysis as a problem to be solved, a corporate crisis to be managed, not a life to be lived. He spoke of experimental treatments overseas, of cutting-edge neural implants, of a future where she would walk again, all while ignoring the woman she was in the present, a woman drowning in silent despair. The fellowship was forgotten, the MFA plans evaporated. Her father declared her writing a frivolous distraction from her recovery. Her laptop was replaced with medical journals, her notebooks with physical therapy charts. The novel inside her withered, its characters growing faint and silent. The world narrowed to the sterile expanse of their penthouse, to the scheduled routines of care, to the crushing loneliness of being seen as a broken project rather than a human being. Her old friends faded away, unsure how to bridge the chasm her father's strict rules created. The only persistent light was her older brother Michael, who lived across the country and whose own strained relationship with their father was a legend of its own. He called weekly, his voice a tether to a past where Eva was known, not just diagnosed. He sent her books, smuggled in by a kind-hearted aide, books she read under the covers with a flashlight, her soul drinking in the words like water in a desert. The decision to finish her degree had been her own secret rebellion, conducted online during the lonely night hours, a single act of reclaiming a piece of herself. She hadn't told her father about the graduation ceremony. She'd arranged for transportation, for her gown, all through Michael, who had promised to be there. But as she sat in her wheelchair at the edge of the stage, waiting for her name, She was gripped by a cold certainty that he wouldn't come, that the silence would be her only companion. And then her name echoed in the air, and the silence descended thick and suffocating. For a heart-stopping moment, the old loneliness threatened to swallow her whole. But then came the sound, a single steady pair of hands clapping from the very back. She turned her wheelchair, the sun catching her tear-filled eyes, and saw him. Michael, his own eyes bright, and beside him her niece, Lily, whom she'd only ever seen on screens, clapping with all her little might. They were an island of love in a sea of indifference. As she wheeled herself off the stage, bypassing the dean's offered hand with a graceful shake of her head, she moved not toward the official exit, but directly through the aisles, toward them. People parted, their expressions a mix of pity and curiosity. But Ava saw only Michael and Lily. When she reached them, Lily burst forward, wrapping her small arms around Eva's neck. "Aunt Eva, you did it!" she whispered. Michael crouched down, his hand on Eva's shoulder, his voice thick. "I'm so proud of you, kid." In that moment, surrounded by the murmuring crowd, yet enclosed in their tiny, powerful circle, Eva felt the frozen parts of her begin to thaw. The applause hadn't been loud, but it had been true. It was an acknowledgement not of a tragedy overcome, but of an achievement earned. It was a sound that said, "I see you, not I fix you." Later, as Michael pushed her wheelchair across the sun-dappled lawn toward his rental car, a new silence settled between them, a comfortable, understanding one. "He doesn't know I'm here," Michael said finally. "I imagine not," Eva replied, a faint, wry smile touching her lips. "He had a board meeting today, a very important one." Michael stopped, turning her chair gently to face him. "What happens now, Eva? Come back to the penthouse. Back to the schedules and the specialists?" Eva looked down at her hands, then out at the campus, at the laughing graduates tossing their caps, at the limitless blue sky. She thought of the novel, not withered but dormant, waiting. She thought of the interview notes from her research trip, still packed in a box somewhere, stories of resilience and voice. She looked at her brother, then at Lily, who was picking a dandelion. "No," she said, and the word felt like the first solid ground she'd stood on in 2 years. "No, I'm not going back. I'm coming with you." The future was no longer written in her father's gold letters of expectation and control. It was an empty page, terrifying and vast, but her own. And for the first time since the accident, she had something to say. Thank you for watching this story of resilience and the quiet power of being seen. If this narrative touched your heart, please explore more journeys of kindness, courage, and the human spirit on the YouTube channel Kindness True Stories. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for regular doses of hope and inspiration. Your support helps us share more light.